What's up, guys? Today I'm going to go over a brief review over this Silo SSG-50 stock. I've had this for 4+ years now, and I thought it'd be time to make a full review on it and what I've liked and what I haven't liked about it, and just go down from there. So starting with this, like the durability of this stock, I haven't had anything crack on it, which is actually pretty surprising to me, and it's 3D printed filament. It isn't your standard 3D printed filament, it's a more reinforced filament, so it's not going to have your standard 3D printed issues, but you can definitely tell that with this chassis because of the build quality with it. So yeah, nothing as far as like cracking or damaging or scratching even has happened with this chassis, so that's pretty cool. One of the other things with this is it's very customizable. You got the full Picatinny rails sections all the way around it, as well as some M-lock slots as well if you need to mount anything to it. The biggest thing is the Picatinny rail here. You can mount a bipod, which is cool. I personally don't run a bipod. I just mount a sling swivel there and then sling it to my PTS mil-spec buffer tube stock. So that's what I run as far as like mounting systems and that underneath the rail there. The Silo stock, I mean, it's pretty solid. I mean, you can customize it pretty much with any back end stock here. I personally went with this PTS stock here, and you can literally put any mil-spec buffer tube stock on there if you want. So you don't have to go with the one I have or PTS. You can go with any other brand as long as it's a mil-spec rated buffer tube. Mil-spec rated stock, I mean. So there's that. And then also the pistol grip is customizable too. I just went with another PTS grip, more of the flat angled PTS grip, so it's more straight when you go to grip it. And then the trigger itself is also flat, so it just fits. It just like the ergonomics of it just fits my hand great. So that's how I went with this setup with this build. Just with the length of the build, it just makes it easier to handle, especially with the adjustability of the stock. There is slots here, so you can lock it in different sections, which is pretty cool too. What's another thing that I like about this stock? The weight of it. So it cuts down on weight quite a bit because it is 3D printed to a certain degree. So the weight of this chassis compared to other chassis that are CNC or even polymer, this is much lighter. So there's other different chassis that are similar to this, built for the VSR10, built for the SSG10, but this is the one I went with, and they all probably are about the same weight, I would probably assume. And that just bringing the weight down of the rifle, especially something this long, you know, it's gonna cut down on quite a bit of hassle when you're on the field and you have to carry it for long durations. That definitely is helpful. So keep in mind, you're not going to be lugging around a 10-pound gun. This is definitely well under that, so that's pretty cool. I don't know what the exact weight is, but I just know it's way lighter than even just the original like stock VSR chassis that comes with like a Tokyo Marui VSR10. It's lighter than that, just built up based on the build quality. Even though in length it's longer and there's more to it, it's just a lighter chassis, in my opinion. And then another thing which is pretty cool is the underneath mag holder, but that's where we start running into issues with this gun, because the underneath mag holder, it lasted a good solid 3 months, and then now it doesn't hold a mag under here, so it's kind of just a fake mag holder at this point, just for looks. But that's kind of unfortunate. I probably could tweak it a little bit and make it, you know, compatible with holding mags again, but I just haven't gotten around to it because I have, you know, mag pouches, so it's not a huge deal for me, honestly. But that is going to be an issue if that's why you choose to decide to go with this chassis for the mag holder. It's not the greatest. Maybe there's been some updates with this to make the mag holder more reinforced, similar to, actually I got a restock in recently, and this is a very similar mag holder but from Maple Leaf. These are actually way better as far as mag holders go. So if you want a chassis with a mag holder, this probably isn't the chassis for you. You'd probably have to get a different chassis that is compatible with this guy. And then you can actually have a mag holder built into the chassis itself. What was I going to say? So, yeah, if you're going it solely based on the mag holder, don't get this chassis. It's not reliable. Another thing is the alignment of the barrel. So if you kind of, I'm gonna point this barrel directly at the camera, but as you can see inside here, I've got like a spacer. It's not really a spacer, it's actually an ace bandage. So it kind of aligns the barrel straight down the center of the front portion of the chassis, because it's a two-piece chassis and it disconnects at this point, at the screw. So the barrel is like here, like let's say this, the outer barrel is my finger and this is the outer diameter of the chassis, my fingers. So sometimes it's a little off, it's a little like crooked, sometimes a little to the side or a little to this side. So I kind of have a spacer in the center so it stays centered inside the inner of that handguard that's right here, right where these 4 Picatinny rails line up. So it's kind of misaligned. I don't know if that's an issue that I had with this as well. So this screw, the screw that comes with the chassis, it stripped immediately as soon as I got it out of the box. So I had to kind of Dremel it out and drill it out the screw just to get that screw out of there. So I just got one from the hardware store, threw one in, but this isn't the original screw that came with the chassis. So that may have had issues with the misalignment of this, but I mean the spacer, the ace bandage spacer that I have in here is doing the job, and I mean it looks aligned to me just from like eyeballing it. It looks centered, so it doesn't really bother me much. And I didn't want to put like a plastic spacer or anything that scratched the outer barrel. That's why I did the ace bandage, because it's softer, so it's not going to scratch the outer barrel or anything like that, and it's still going to condense the outer barrel centered, so it's aligned right down the middle of that handguard. Another thing that I had issues with, like I was saying, the screw itself. So that screw stripped out. You're going to want to be very careful, or make sure you have the exact screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver too. Actually, I think it was, from what I remember, it might have been Allen key. Either way, get the exact Allen key and don't strip it right out of the bat. You might have to drill it out regardless of what Allen key you use, because it's really cheap screws that came with it, and it just jammed in there, and I had to Dremel that out, and it was a whole big issue just to get that screw out. Once you get it out, it's a two-piece, so it pieces together. So this whole front end from here down slides off, and then the rest of the chassis is the back end. And then this isn't built in. You can, like I said, you can put your own customization for the pistol grip and the stock. The only thing is the chassis. So if you do have like a TDC, you're gonna have to Dremel a section so you can be able to adjust your TDC from the top. That's not a huge deal, as long as you have a good Dremel that can, get it completely around the outer portion of the TDC, whatever TDC you go with. Just make sure you cut the slots perfectly, because, and also when you go to put on the handguard, that it clears the TDC. So with mine, what's nice about the Tritos TDC is it's minimalistic. So it's so low profile that this chassis, the front end portion, slides right over it, so there's no interference of it nailing the TDC or misaligning it when you go to slide this front portion on. So that's pretty cool when you go to disassemble and clean it and whatnot. I don't have any problems putting this back on and over the top of it. So yeah, so keep that in mind. Anything else like the Maple Leaf TDC or anything like that, or any other TDC out there, you may have to like do some sort of crazy Dremel work just to get it to fit, because this one is just low enough to where it barely clears it. So keep that in mind with this chassis. Overall, my final thoughts on this chassis, I would say, is the compatibility is pretty much full VSR spec and SSG-10 spec. I would say it's more SSG-10 spec than VSR spec because I did need the SSG-10 magwell block to make this compatible with the VSR-10. So keep that in mind as well. It's pretty cheap. You can get it on Over's website for about like $25 or something like that. And it's a better magwell block than a standard TM magwell block or a Maple Leaf magwell block. That's one good thing about the SSG-10 magwell, the custom magwell block has the springboards on it. So like when you pull the mag out, it just pops right out because it has a built-in springboard at the bottom here, and then the mag just releases perfectly when you go to hit the button. And it also aligns with this chassis perfectly, so you don't have any misalignment issues when you go to install the upper portion of your bolt action build into this chassis. So you will need to have the Nova SSG-10 magwell block. You can't use a TM magwell block or any like VSR spec magwell block. You need that one. But everything else fit perfectly with it. The receiver sits flush. There isn't any issues with it aligning with the bolt handle. I mean, it can go lefty without having to like cut a slot for it. It just sits on the outer portion of the chassis. It is made for right-handed shooters. There isn't like a lefty version, I don't think. So there is the left hand bolt handle slot here, or the right-handed bolt handle slot. But right now I have it to where it is on the left side, and there's no issues there. It still releases the bolt back without any problems, and it just rests right on the top there. You don't really need to cut a slot. You could, but if you really wanted to go all out, but it really isn't. It isn't necessary. This thing has been through quite a lot. I've like dropped it, threw it in the mud. I've fell on it. It's been through the rain, snow, whatnot, pretty much any weather conditions, and it's still holding up. So I can give it that. For being a 3D printed chassis, I mean, technically it is 3D printed, but the filament is not like full 3D printed filament, but it is very durable. Much more durable than probably most people say out there about this chassis. I have tons of gameplays using this build, and it's been through a lot of a beating, I guess you could say. So, and it's held up, so that's pretty cool, and I will give it that. So if you do want to pick this up, you can check out Silo Entertainment's website. I think it's Silo Airsoft. You can just check out that chassis there. I think he's got a few other options now. This was one of like close to one of the original ones. This is the SSG-50 variant. So if you go to look for this exact one, that's what you want to look for, SSG-50. That's what it's called, the chassis is called. And yeah, that's pretty much it on this chassis. I've come to really like it, and I think I'm going to stick with it unless Springer Customs, comes out with their stock, or not stock, their chassis, and it's able to be purchased within the States, but that's very unlikely, and it is wooden, so it's going to be a huge difference if I go with a wooden stock over this way lighter chassis that I've been used to for so long. So it's going to be it, or if I go aluminum in the future. But I mean, I'm really liking this chassis for this specific build based on the length that I'm going with as far as the inner barrel length, the 430 millimeter. I think the lighter chassis just suits it well for the longer build, longer barrel length build, to maximize the most distance and range and accuracy I can get out of it. So other than that, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about it, just leave it down in the comments, and I'll help you out. If you have any problems installing it, or just questions about it in general, just let me know. That's pretty much it for this video. So take care and have a great day.